Welcome to the Michael Smith Architect Podcast with your host, Michael Smith.
Hi, this is Mike Smith, and welcome to Michael Smith Architect Podcast, episode number 8. And today's we're gonna title this episode "Shelter in Home Update." Yes, I think 3.5 weeks for us in California that we've been sheltered in home, and going a little stir crazy. I've been slowly moving stuff out of my office back home and setting it up here. Don't know how long we'll be here, but it is to kind of correspond with our shelter in home. At least in San Luis Obispo, we've had rain, probably more rain than I've seen in the month of March and April in quite some time, almost to the point where we're normal for the year. But and that has added to it and such. But we're still doing some work. Some clients are still going ahead with projects, which is love to hear that. But finding that, I know I said on the last podcast that I kind of enjoy having the computer online and being able to make changes and such with clients right away. But it has been, you miss that eye contact, that body language, bending over the plans and marking them up and such. It's a little it's not a little, it's a lot different when you're on the computer and you're looking. Yes, you're both looking at the floor plan, but I'm adjusting the focus. If it's out and we see the whole sheet, it's very hard to see details. And then when you focus in, you've got to go over each part and such. So that is a challenge for not only myself to convey the information to my clients, but also to my clients, that they don't have that connection where they walk out with a set of plans. So what I'm kind of finding is I have plans set out to my blueprinter and I have them dropped off at their house before the meeting so they can actually look at it and they get familiar with it, and then I can go over parts of the plan and such. So that's one thing that we've had to adjust. And then, of course, you have the typical thing. I'm not the only person using Zoom. There's a limited bandwidth, so I share it with my wife, and she's doing it with her preschoolers and such. So there's some days where she's doing a meeting and I'm doing a meeting, and we've got to keep them separated and such. So meetings may not go as long and such. So it's all these things that we're trying to figure out how to operate, because I don't know how long we're going to be here. I would say for at least a couple more weeks before we're out of here. So we're just going to we're making the best of it and such. So that's the first part. But let's talk about what's going to be on the rest of the show here. I'm really excited. We kind of diverted from our normal podcast, where we have either contractors or real estate agents or designers and such on the show. I decided to do something that I think everyone is going to need, whether you're a homeowner or not, and you happen to be listening to this. You may be operating your own business like myself, or you're working for someone, and marketing is going to be a key part in our recovery as we're going through it. And I was very fortunate to have Kim Walsh Phillips, who I have dubbed the First Lady of Social Media Marketing, on the show. She has an update to her book that she wrote with Dan Kennedy. And you know what? I did it again. Hold on one second. Ha! I do have it. So, No BS Guide to Direct Response Social Media Marketing. She wrote this. I read this back in the summer. That's how I learned about Kim, but I'm going to tell you all about that during the recording. So without further ado, let's go to that recording of my interview with Kim Walsh Phillips. Well, hello everyone, and I want to welcome you to a very special Michael Smith Architect podcast as we are diverging from our normal interviews with contractors and designers and real estate agents. We're going to kind of veer into a very important subject, marketing. And that is something that we all definitely need to be doing, especially in these challenging times, because they are going to end and we're going to come out on the other side. And those that market the best are going to be the ones that are going to be restarting their businesses or continuing them through these times. And that being said, it is my great pleasure to have who I call the First Lady of Social Media Marketing, Kim Walsh Phillips. Well, welcome to the program, Kim.
Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate it. And if I can give a shout out to everyone listening, whether you own a business or you are someone who's employed by others, it's important that we market ourselves effectively, regardless of what's going on in the world. So I think you'll love this episode because we're going to focus around that.
See what I mean, people? Okay, well, that is outstanding. Kim, I'm sure this is not your normal audience that you're talking to in terms of business owners per se, but with what's going on and such, I just think it's so important. But can you give us a little background, where your story is and such?
I think everybody is born with a purpose, and it may change over time, but when we lean into that, not only does life become more enjoyable, but it becomes a whole lot of easier because we're getting to do the things we're meant to do. So I always tried to do that, but I started maybe trying to do it in the wrong spot. And I first started in corporate PR. I worked for a major drugstore chain in sharing communication to the media until we were being told to lie. When I left that job, our CEO was indicted. So you might have a guess who that company was. And then I got to run all of the marketing for our downtown. I did the marketing and business recruitment. I loved it, and special events. And until when I was leaving that job, someone came to me and she thought I should own my own business, and she wanted to be my first client. So talk about, seizing an opportunity that came in front of me. It was amazing. And so I did that. And what I started though was doing like the very traditional things of offering my services for time. And I started charging in the beginning $15 an hour, and I would work on getting people PR and publicity. And it was great, but it never felt right. And if any of you are listening right now and you'll hear that little whisper, like, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something else. That's not an accident. It's there for a reason. We feel trepidation. We feel discomfort for a reason. And my guess is a lot of people who are going through this time in life with all the changes in the world, that gets stronger, that sound gets louder, and that's for a reason too. Well, I had that for a long time, over a decade. I had this little whisper telling me that I was meant to serve more people than I ever could running an agency. At the time, we had 30 clients, which is a pretty good sized boutique firm, but I could only reach 30 clients, and I thought I was meant to reach more. And so eventually I said, okay, God, you're right. And I agreed to sell my company. And that week I agreed to sell it, that I handed over to God. I got 3 offers from people to buy it. So when I sold my firm, it was amazing to focus specifically on coaching entrepreneurs on how they could stop relying upon word of mouth and start scaling their business in a predictable way. That's when everything changed. I focused on the things that I love to do, which is speak and write and coach. And I hired jobs for everything else. And now I get to coach people on what their purpose is so that I can help them find more lives that they can change.
Well, that is amazing. And that is one thing that I know. I met you in November of last year,
Yeah.
And I have been totally reorienting myself the same way, trying to stick with what I do best instead of everything. And that is a tough nut when you're a sole proprietor and such. So that message, hearing it more and more, will slowly seep in deeper and deeper until I make that full leap into that.
Well, and I think that's why people should hire you for what you do, because if they go and they just try to take on a property that already exists or work with something that's prefab, that's not customized, they're trying to use gifts maybe aren't theirs. You have this gift of being able to maximize space and create dreams for people and manage things that they hate to do and take away the headaches. And so that, like, the thing that you do does that in a different space. And so I want everyone to think about, like, what are the things you love to do? And is that what you're focusing your time around? And could you hire out, or could you contract with, or could you get a blueprint for the things that aren't your strengths? And so that way you could spend more time doing the things that are going to give you a greater more time in general, which is the biggest asset, we have, the scarcest resource, but also bring you further to the overall goals you have in life and business.
That's absolutely true. That is great. So I actually, before I met you, I was introduced to you by reading your book, The No BS Guide to Direct Response Social Media Marketing, which you did with Dan Kennedy. And as a side note for everyone, why Kim is on here and why I get the opportunity to interview her is because she's updating this. But can you walk us through, the book and kind of talk about that a little bit?
Social media is this incredible thing, right? And you can think of it as like fluffy cat videos and cute pictures of everyone on their front steps or the vacations they had last summer. And I actually love it for that reason. I love being connected to community that way. But whether or not you like the personal side of social media, this is about what it can do for you and the growth of your goals. Facebook and Instagram together have 3 billion people on there. Yeah. And if you were to take all of the major television networks, all of the major news outlets, all of the major magazines and combine them, they wouldn't even come close. So whatever you're trying to accomplish, whether it be something you volunteer for, donate to, a business that you run, a business you're a part, whatever it is, if you're not leveraging the digital marketing space, you're losing out on the biggest channel that there is that people not only pay attention to, but can click on and go to your offer. Because even TV, newspaper, radio, you can't click on an offer. You have to take another action. So it's the fastest path to get someone to respond. Well, here's the thing. Most people, because social media is free to do marketing on, they're not figuring out their strategy ahead of time. They're not doing it based in any kind of thing that would necessarily work because they don't have to. It's easy, it's quick, it's cheap. And so most of the things that you see on social, in fact, Social Media Examiner said 87% of people who advertise on social media get no ROI. Well, why is that? Because they're not following any basic principles of great marketing. And so in this book, The No BS Guide to Direct Response Social Media Marketing, we're breaking down how to use marketing principles that will not only drive awareness, but will drive real results, meaning leads and sales. How to take those strategies and put them into each of the media channels. So from LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, how they translate to each one of those. That's what's in the book.
That is awesome. So what's the difference between the 2015 and the updated version? You don't have to give it all away, but maybe 1 or 2 tidbits that we should look out for.
It's actually 80% of it is a new book. I only had to contribute. In my contract, I had 50%. But, once you get in there, you start changing things. First of all, Instagram Live wasn't a thing then. Insta Stories wasn't a thing then. Facebook Live really wasn't a thing then. There's so many new advancements that we have, plus brand new examples, cases you can use. So we have things in there from how to grow your Instagram following from 0 to thousands of free plan inside there. We have a Facebook Live script. The thing is, these media channels, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, they are craving content. People are on there now more than ever. Yeah. So if you start providing content for people to view that they will find valuable, they're going to share it for you at no charge. You're going to get free organic reach. Now, here's the thing. If you're willing to throw a couple bucks behind it, you can go even farther. So you take the videos that perform the best and then you multiply them. Now, a really simple thing to do on social is to simply answer people's questions that they're already asking. So if you go to this great resource called answerthepublic.com, that's answerthepublic.com, you're able to search the questions that are being asked in your niche. And then you can simply make a series of videos where you answer them. Right before I got on this interview with you, I recorded a video that I'm going to post on LinkedIn later today. And all it was saying was, how do you get in front of your customers, clients, and patients while you can't physically get in front of them? A simple strategy you can use right now to do just that. It was just answering that one question. Just a piece of content, a quick answer. The video is about 8 minutes long. I'll load it to LinkedIn later today. It'll be pure value. But my contact information is right there in my profile, and I'll end up getting inquiries from people who are interested in getting more information.
That's awesome. Great. And I want to actually go back to you were describing before how most people are online without a plan. And you were describing me to a T. I've known I've needed to be on social media probably for 5 years, and hit and miss and this and that. I think up until about 2 months ago, I had 280 followers or likes on my Facebook page for my business. And reading the book and then meeting you and working through your programs, especially, can I mention the 10,000 fans?
Go for it. Yeah.
That is by far just following 4 simple techniques, and they're really stupid simple. And even I could do it. And now I have over 10,000 fans on
Woohoo!
And that's the great thing, is you're getting more interaction, you're getting more visibility. And yes, I know some of them are will never be my clients, but they're still passing on, and it's through that I'll reach other people and such. So that's, if there's nothing else, if you're listening to this and you're a business owner and you want to get more visibility, just that simple program. And so I imagine 10,000 fan program is in the book. Is that right?
Yeah, why don't we just give them a URL, though, that folks want to start getting Facebook followers right now for their charity they're involved in or their own business, where they could go to do that. And I think you have a special URL just for your listeners.
I do. If you want to, if you're interested, and if you're not, you are interested. So if you're listening to this, you need to be doing it. Well, let me put it this way. If you're listening to this and you do not have 10,000 fans on your Facebook page, you need to go to this link, and it's www.michaelsmitharchitect.com/10K fan. And you will click that link and we'll get you tied into this program, because it is a fantastic program. And I can't stress how simple it is. You can do it in like 20 minutes. You watch 2 videos, don't overthink it, just do what Kim and her team outlines, and you will have 10,000 fans. So that, I can't stress that enough. So go do that right now. And we'll come back to that at the end of the show. So obviously coronavirus and everything going on, it is challenging. And I'm kind of focusing on sole proprietor because I've kind of scaled back to that again. Mm-hmm. What is one thing, other than having fans, but what is one thing a sole proprietor should be doing right now?
Staying in front of your audience and being of great value. So one of my coaching clients owns a real estate brokerage firm. And, realtors obviously are challenged because they can't show properties like they once did, and they can't meet with people like they once did, but doesn't mean they can't still serve their market. And so what we did is created a program that he can just start offering to everyone in the community, regardless of whether or not they were his clients, saying, what to do if you need to buy or sell a house in the next 30 days. And it just started being incredibly valuable. And then I've taken that same content to attorneys. What do you need to do? What if you need to file a case, defend yourself, bring suit, make a motion in the next 30 days? Like, what do you do? So you become the thought leader. And what's been crazy is in this time frame, I have noticed associations to be silent, almost like they sent out all those emails telling us how they changed how they deal with their employees in their break rooms and all the things we really don't care about. But what they didn't do was offer actual strategies their members could use. So fill in the gap, fill in the void, and be that thought leader that can help people get through, serve everyone in that market, right? And then in the end, people will start coming to you as the thought leader and authority so you can serve them well when this is all over.
I'm taking furious notes here because that's just spiked me now. You know, how I can reach people who are, maybe they turned it off a little bit on a remodel right now, but I need to have them focus what happens in a year, because that's how long it takes the whole process and such. So, but if they do need some kind of emergency, you know, remodel or addition or something on their house, how do they go through that? So I'm going to put together that report and be that person. Okay, so I've gone through all my questions, but I'm just wondering, is there something that that I'd miss that you would want to tell someone who's sitting at home or in their home office and watching this video right now?
There are people who will look back in time and, you know, they'll say, I wish I would have started, or it's too late for me to start. But the reality is you can grow an account very quickly. So yes, 5 years ago would have been the best time for you to have started to do social media marketing. But the second best time is right now. Absolutely. Within a week's time, you could have already reached your target market on there. It is so quick. It is so simple. You just have to take the next step. Now, don't become an expert in all things, because you can't, and you will find that overwhelming. Pick one channel, the one you feel the most comfortable in, and start diving into that. Set a timer on each day to maybe spend 10, 15 minutes in that space, and you can begin to make leadway right away. The most important thing, though, is that you start leveraging these platforms, because this is truly, it was before the place everyone was. Well, now even more so. People have become dependent upon these channels in order to get information, leverage them to reach your perfect target market.
Awesome. Well, great. And when does the book come out?
The book comes out officially on May 19th. That is the publication date. And it is available wherever fine books are sold. So if you love Amazon or Barnes & Noble, you can get those all online right now. I'd love to have you read it, and you'll find right inside the book a huge free bonus package worth thousands of dollars that will be all yours when you get the book.
That's awesome. Well,
I should probably give the title again, huh? The No BS Guide to Direct Response Social Media Marketing. And if you put my full name in, which is Kim Walsh Phillips, you will find my books. That's why I use all three names, because there's a lot of Kim Walshes, there's lots of Kim Phillips, but there's only one Kim Walsh Phillips. So that's why that's what's out there. Yeah.
And you also find it, we'll put it in the show notes here, so anybody listening to this, you don't have to worry about all the links and such. It'll be in there, and you just click them and we'll bring you to the right place. Well, Kim, I want to thank you so much for being on my show. As always, it's fantastic, and the value that you are delivering is always the best. I always learn something else. I've got a report I got to put together in the next few days, but I want to thank you for your time, and I can't wait to get the book and read it. So I just want to say to my audience here, if you own or running a business, whether it's one person or a dozen, Kim can help you with your marketing. And I want to make sure that you go to that link, michaelsmitharchitect.com/10K fans, and we'll get you hooked up there, because we all need a mentor. She's mine. She helps me with my marketing ideas and such, and it's helped me. So thanks, Kim, again for being on the show. And I will talk to you. I'll talk to you later, and I'll talk to my audience in 2 weeks. Thanks. Bye. Okay, what a great interview. I had a lot of fun with it because I got to talk to my mentor. She's helped me so much as I relayed in the interview, and increased my fans on my Facebook page, which there'll be as I said in the interview, if you want to learn how to do that, how I got over 10,000 fans to Michael Smith Architect, it is really simple. Just go to the link that we have, michaelsmitharchitect.com/10,000 fans, and you can get the same thing. So I believe, let's see, going through everything, I'm going to say just some updates on it. I just keep you apprised of what's going on with building departments in our area. And a lot of emails that I'm using for the county, getting plans in, getting revisions to plans, but full-size submittals are being delivered by the local blueprinter, and they are mailing registered mail back to me, any plan check comments and such. So that seems to be working okay. I haven't seen any problem with it. I'm just getting ready for another permit submittal for a new project. So I will let you know how that goes. It'll be my first full one. I've done some permit submittal, not permit submittals, but amendments to permits that have already been issued. And that usually happens when we make changes in the field based on existing conditions are different, or the contractor has suggested maybe a better way, an easier way to do some construction better than what I have, which I always love to get that collaboration. And sometimes it's such a change that the building inspector wants to make sure it's recorded on the official permit. So we file an addendum to the permit process. So that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the show. As always, please let me know in the comments below. If you're hearing this for the first time and it sounds interesting, please subscribe so you get noticed. About every 2 weeks we do a podcast, and if you have a suggestion on maybe a guest that you'd like to see, I'd love to hear that. We're always looking for new and interesting people. One, just to let you know, a couple things coming up. We're going to have a real estate agent where I was originally going to have her come on before this all happened. We were going to talk about ADUs and how they're changing the landscape and such, but we may just go into what the market is now that we're under the coronavirus, and is there a market out at least in San Luis Obispo. So love to hear your thoughts. Any questions, go ahead and email me at mike@michaelsmitharchitect.com, and I'd be happy to answer them. You can connect with us on Instagram at MDSARCH, and on Facebook, of course, at Michael Smith Architect. So until next time, have a good day.
Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for a new episode coming soon.